We made this loom way too long, so I think the technical term is there's going to be a service loop or two in this area. Welcome back to Freedom One Garage. We are trying to cheat a little bit today. We're doing a bunch of work on this bad ride. This is a 98 Silverado. It's got the 5.7 Vortec automatic four-wheel drive. Belongs to a customer of ours, and normally, you know, we're doing a bunch of service work to it, fixed a bunch of leaks, servicing everything because it moves snow. Oh, shop tiger alert. Hey bud. Yeah, hi. Anywho, doing a bunch of work to it. One of the things that we're trying to correct though is this had some exhaust work done to it, and you know, it's a little sketchy. We've got, well, here we've got what used to be the Y pipe. It chops into just some regular exhaust pipe. There are no longer any catalytic converters here. And then we've got like some sort of a Flowmaster knockoff 2-in-1 out there. It doesn't sound too bad. The main problem is both the O2 sensors, the downstream O2 sensors, are gone. One was eliminated because it sits right behind the catalytic converter here, and then the other one was in, and we got it out with a little bit of heat and the impact. It was in here, but it was damaged and the wires were cut off, so the truck's basically running around in safe mode. I don't know that this will work. We do have upstream. Oh, come on, roll. We do have upstream sensors, and they're working from what I can tell reading the live data. So what we're gonna try and do, and I don't know if it'll work or not, and I got some approvals. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna try, and we've got our pigtail for one O2 sensor that we unplugged here. We've got our pigtail for our other downstream O2 sensor that's up there. And granted, we don't have a catalytic converter in here, but we still have one bung for the driver's side downstream O2 sensor here that we just removed. What we're going to try to do is wire in both pigtails into a new loom and run both into this one downstream sensor and see if it likes it, see how it runs, see if it'll keep the engine light off, and that kind of thing. It's either gonna think that the catalytic converter is working or it's not. And then what we're probably going to have to do is we'll have to run what's called a spark plug non-fouler. And what it is it's a spacer made for pulling spark plugs out of the combustion chamber a little bit. But what you can do is you can put it in here with an 18mm thread and space your O2 sensor out a little ways and out of the direct exhaust stream, and supposedly that'll make it detect a little bit leaner ratio and fool the computer into thinking that not only is there a catalytic converter here, down here where there isn't, but that it's working, you know, correctly. We're gonna go over here now, over on the benches. Over, ow, my liver. We've started on this, and we had to purchase a new O2 sensor because, like I said, the one that we had was damaged and the wires were like nipped right here. So we've got one downstream O2 sensor. We've hacked into its wiring harness right here. We built a 4-wire harness, goes over to here, and then we got this end, and we're going to wire that into what's left of our other downstream sensor harness. The one thing you have to make sure you do, apparently we're going to have to match colors, because the stock colors are purple dark brown and or purple light brown and 2 darker browns, and those match up to these whites. So how you get those right is, and we've used white in this, but we've got one that's got a little bit thicker insulation, so we know which is which. And what you do is you just match up the plugs. So when we splice this one here, we got to splice this one here into the same wire, and vice versa. Otherwise we just know what we're tying into and what our colors are changing to, and life will be good there. Now those fowlers, those spark plug fowlers, they come in a couple different lengths. We're going to run the Irish right now quick and get both. They got them in the stocks, so we're going to run and get both sizes, and yeah, we'll just see if this works or not. It's a lot cheaper than a whole new exhaust, and it'll give this customer a little bit of time to make a plan and think about what they want long term for this truck, and at the same time keep that engine light off so if something else happens, and you know, they aren't just driving around with light on and not knowing that there's another problem other than this O2 sensor nonsense. We'll go get those. We'll come back. We're going to finish making this wire loom, and we'll show you that, and then we'll throw it under there and just see, you know, first if it even likes it at all. All right, so here's what we're dealing with. We have our non-fowlers in the metric 18 size. These are the standard ones. These are the 1.5-inch ones. I have a feeling we're going to go straight to the 1.5-inch. And by the way, Dorman numbers 42009, 42109. I think we're going to go straight to these just because we know we don't have a catalytic converter at all. Excuse me. Wire loom is ready. This is going to go to our plug above the transfer case. We've got our heat shrink connectors on here, all sealed up on both ends, heat shrink here, and then this is the connector that goes over to the passenger side frame rail connection. And then the one negative so far that I know I see is because we built this on the bench, we're going to have to stream this wire loom out, and as we twist this oxygen sensor in, we're going to have to, you know, adjust with the wire loom. So we'll do oxygen sensor first after the non-fowler, and then we'll start routing and plugging in and fire it up and see what goes. Okay, let's climb under here and show you the installed version. Where are we at here? Here we go. There is our non-fowler with our O2 sensor plugged in or screwed into that. And then we got our harness that goes up here. We're plugged into the wiring harness at that connector right there. We don't have it, you know, stuck in the little connector holder yet, and we don't have anything zippy tied yet. Then we come around, we come over here, and for right now we're not going to drive this, so we just kind of got it laying here. Then we come down this way, and then here's our other, hang on, our other connector here, and we made this loom way too long, so I think the technical term is there's going to be a service loop or two in this area. But for right now, we can go ahead and we're going to start this up a little bit. It's in the air right now. We're just going to see if we get any data off of it, and then if it looks like it's going to read, we'll back it out and let it run outside the shop for a little while and get in the closed loop, hopefully. And yeah, maybe we did something here. We've erased all the codes that it had, took pictures of them first, of course. First, let's see if it'll start and run. Okay, So we got startage. Seems to be running pretty decent. We're gonna link up. No code yet, so live data. And let's see if we're seeing anything in our oxygen sensor here. Okay, bank 1, sensor 2 showing 99.2% effective. Bank 2, sensor 2, 99.2% effective. And it's showing pretty decent little voltage. Looks like -3, moving around a little bit. I think we might have something here. We're gonna shut it down and get it outside and let it get warmed up, I think. We can't drive it right now because we serviced the rear differential and we're waiting for the silicon carney to set up good before we put fluid in that. But we'll back it out of the shop anyway and let it run a little bit and see what happens. But so far it's looking plausible here. So you may ask yourself, Jarrett, why are you doing this? Well, this is a particular situation where even though the exhaust kind of looks like an erector set, it sounds good, it runs good, other than it wouldn't go into closed loop and it stayed in a set air fuel ratio because it wasn't seeing sensors from the downstream O2s. Otherwise, very happy. We just went into closed loop on the scan tool and still no check engine light. So I think we're pretty close. You could see yourself in one of these earlier computerized cars or trucks wanting to upgrade. Say you want headers, say you want dual exhaust, but you want to do it on a budget. Or like this gentleman, you had to cut the cats out for another reason because they were bad or whatever. So say you get your cats stolen. And here's the deal, I did a lot of research on splicing. Now, we did a couple different things here, so stay with me. We spliced 2 oxygen sensor circuits downstream. You can't do this upstream, I don't think. But we spliced 2 oxygen sensors into one circuit. That seems to be working just fine. And I've seen some threads and some discussion, online forums, that kind of stuff. Didn't find a video on doing that. Here's your video now. The other part is we basically fooled an exhaust system with no catalytic converter whatsoever into thinking that it's just fine, and there is something there and it's working fine. So those two things combined really open up options, especially for this customer or anybody with this type of vehicle, the CK Chevy trucks from anywhere from 88 to 2004 or 5 or so, where you can get creative with your exhaust and have a little fun with it maybe, and still stay, you know, without the check engine lights and the other things going off, be pretty happy. Keep the truck happy, keep you happy, everybody's happy. So that's why we're doing it. We're sitting here, we got an engine coolant up to 165. We're in closed loop now, which means it's watching all the sensors and monitoring and changing air fuel ratio according to what it's seen. Let's go down here to our fuel trims are all in order. Let's see here. There we go, O2 sensors. It's still showing bank 1, sensor 2, which is the only sensor 2 we have, is the voltages are right. It's 99.2% effective. And then we'll go down here, bank 2, sensor 2. Again, same voltages, same percentage effectiveness. I think that's what that is, the 99. Says it's working. So, I'm calling it a win right now. Again, we can't drive it. I wish we could, but I don't want to short the setup time on that silicone on rear differentials, on differential covers when there's no gasket. Sometimes if you don't follow the constructions on the silicone, it'll drip just enough that it's annoying. We're gonna tie up our wiring, but I think we got a big time win here. So stay tuned. Tomorrow we'll finish this video up. Well, it is 2 days later alert time. Had a couple customers we had to help out and get some stuff done, but we are finally road testing the red truck here and checking into our O2 sensor, fooling and tricking the computer. And so far we've got about 7-8 miles on it. We're been up the temperature for a while and everything's just really happy. One thing that's interesting though is even though I have both downstream O2 sensors, harness is wired together into one sensor. When you're idling, the voltages are identical, but when you're driving, it must seek that input at different times because they aren't the same. They fluctuate and they aren't rarely the same. So we're feeling pretty good about this though. Haven't had the check engine light on. You know, we serviced the transmission, did all kinds of stuff to this truck, and everything seems to be just working lovely. But let's get this thing on the highway here and give it a little beans. And you know, for what's under there, the erector set exhaust that's under there, it sounds pretty good when you give her the beans. Ain't all bad. We're gonna cruise a few more miles, but I think I'm pretty positive we got her licked. And that opens up options for future exhaust. If he wants to get crazy and put some headers and some true dual exhaust on here, we know how to fool the computer to get that done. Appreciate you guys and gals for watching our stuff. We're going to get on to the next thing. See you on that.